Lesson 11.2 is all about classifying triangles. A lot of this information should be familiar from 4th grade. Triangles can all be classified two ways. They can be classified based on the lengths of their sides and on the types of angles they have. So triangles can either be equilateral, scalene, or isosceles based on their sides, and right, obtuse, or acute based on their angles. All triangles will have two classifications. So for example, a triangle could be isosceles and acute, or a triangle could be scalene and right. A triangle cannot be scalene and isosceles, and a triangle could not be right and acute. Triangles cannot be classified two different ways based on angles or two different ways based on sides. It's one way based on sides and one way based on angles. All right, so classifying triangles based on their sides. Triangles can either be equilateral, scalene, or isosceles based on the lengths of their sides. Equilateral triangles have all sides congruent. Remember from 4th grade that congruent means same length. So think equilateral, equal, all sides are equal, all sides are the same length. You can tell in this picture this triangle is equilateral because all three sides have been marked with the same notation. They all have one little tick mark showing they're all the same length. Scalene triangles have all sides different lengths. You can tell in this picture this triangle is scalene because all three sides have different notations. This side has one tick mark, this side has two tick marks, and this side has three tick marks, showing all three sides are different lengths. Isosceles triangles have two sides that are congruent and one side that is different. You can tell this triangle is isosceles because two sides have the same notation and one side has a different notation. All right, triangles can also be classified based on their angles. Triangles can be right, obtuse, or acute based on their angles. Right triangles have one right angle. And remember from 4th grade, a right angle is 90 degrees or a square corner. You can tell this triangle is a right triangle because it's been marked that this corner right here is a right angle. It has that little notation showing it's a square corner, 90 degrees, a right angle. So this is a right triangle. Obtuse triangles have one obtuse angle. And remember from 4th grade, obtuse angles are greater than 90 degrees, so bigger than a square corner. This is an obtuse triangle because this angle right here is obtuse. A great way to check for obtuse angles is to take the corner of a piece of paper, match it up with the angle, and if this angle is larger than the corner of the piece of paper, it tells you it's an obtuse angle. Now, acute triangles are probably the hardest to remember for 5th graders because acute triangles have to have all angles acute. Acute meaning less than 90 degrees. So it doesn't matter if a triangle has one acute angle or two acute angles. That doesn't make it an acute triangle. Acute triangles must have all three angles acute to be an acute triangle. So this triangle is acute because all three angles are less than 90 degrees. All right, so let's look at a couple examples of triangles and why they're classified the way they're classified. This triangle here is an acute equilateral triangle. It's acute because all three angles are less than 90 degrees. It's equilateral because all three sides are equal in length. All three sides are congruent, and you can tell that because of the notations, the little tick marks. So this is an acute equilateral triangle. Acute based on its angles, equilateral based on its sides. This is a right isosceles triangle. It's a right triangle because this angle right here is a right angle. It's 90 degrees. I know it doesn't have the little notation, but if you took the corner of a piece of paper and lined it up with this angle right here, it would match the corner of the piece of paper. So we have a right angle, making it a right triangle. It's isosceles because two sides are congruent, same length. You can tell from those little notations there. and one side is a different length. So right based on the right angle, isosceles based on the lengths of the sides. Two the same, one different. So this is a right isosceles triangle. This is an acute isosceles triangle. It's acute because all three angles are acute. All three angles are less than 90 degrees. It's isosceles because two sides are the same length. Again, you can tell from the notations, two tick marks, and one side is a different length. So acute for three acute angles, isosceles because two sides are the same and one is different. This last triangle is an obtuse scalene triangle. Obtuse because this angle right here is an obtuse angle. It's greater than 90 degrees, and you could tell that if you lined it up with the corner of a piece of paper. It's scalene because all three sides are different lengths. So obtuse because of this obtuse angle, scalene because all three sides are different lengths. So it's an obtuse scalene triangle.